Yes sir, is back with another video. The official go-getter. Today we're going to be talking about betting on yourself. You know, a lot of people lately been coming to me talking about college. A lot of older folks, they come to me. I tell them how old I am. They ask if I'm still going to school, right? And I tell them when I'm not going to school, they just, oh, you should go to school. You should go to school. You need to go to college. And sometimes I'll feel it deep inside and kind of get angry to be like, damn, like, you don't know what makes you assume that that I'm still not learning, you know, or I'm just sitting on my ass and not doing nothing, right? Or sometimes I'll be like, damn, like, you don't already see the type of person that I am? Like, you don't already see that I'll be all right without college, right? So, but that's just like a pride and ego thing for me. But the most important thing that I want to talk about is the fact that not everyone's going to understand you, for one, right? So when they say something, I can't get mad at them for trying to tell me the same advice that they would give their younger selves, because back then, that would have been the route, you know? Back then, the route would have been go to school, go to a university, right? But that's not in my plan. And I tell people all the time, if that's not in your plan, okay, what is? Figure out what is in your plan, right? Because if you don't know what to do, then you might as well just go to school, right? Because if you don't go to school, you're going to have to go to work. Or most people go to work, right? And if you're going to go to work, you got to do it with a purpose. You got to want to do it. You got to take that money from work and put it towards something, right? So the reason I brought this up is because when they would say something like go to college or go to school, it would make me feel some type of way. I would doubt myself, like, damn, like, am I really doing the right thing? Should I go to school? Like, is the work that I'm putting in really showing? Is there anything really coming out of this, right? And that's just when I have to snap back into reality, because I know the work that I'm putting in is going to come into fruition. But like I talk about later on, like I talked about yesterday or in another video, the plan is long term. So I'm not going to see it now, but everybody's going to see this shit 5, 10 years from now, every single person, right? So you got to bet on yourself. That's the moral of this video. Bet on yourself, because once you do that, nobody's just going to start off betting on you. But once you bet on yourself, people are going to eventually see how serious you are about your own goals, and they're going to bet on you. They're going to sit there and say, okay, boom, that person, he don't have it right now, but I can tell by the way he moves and by the way he talks and by the way he applies himself, he's going to have it one day. So I'm going to support, right? I tell people all the time, if you help yourself, people will feel more obligated to help you. Somebody who's not helping themselves, somebody who's always looking for a handout, people ain't gonna feel like they want to help you, right? Because they don't think anything's gonna come from it. And you got, like, shit like that's supposed to happen when somebody comes to you and says, basically, go to school is drift off from your plan. You know what I mean? That's all I hear. Because if I go to school, I feel like what I feel like is I failed what I set out to accomplish, right? That's failing myself. That's failing my plan, right? School is beneficial for somebody who wants to go study something that, you know, that brings them a good return or involves a certain degree. That is beneficial, right? That's when you might need a university. Or for somebody who just doesn't have the drive and focus, or doesn't know how to make life their teacher, school is that's important. You need to learn. Knowledge is important at the end of the day. But what I've mastered is making life my teacher. I'm a student of life. You have to be able to learn from your experiences, right? And that's why I don't feel strong about school, because life is the best teacher. So I'm making this video for anybody else who's doubting themselves, right? You're doubting yourself, and you're sitting there right now. You're going through a period where you're questioning whether or not your goals are going to come true, or your goals are going to come to fruition, or whatever dreams you have, because you're working right now. You're not seeing the same results, or the results that you want to see, or whatever it is. Keep grinding. Like, this is supposed to happen. Make life your teacher. This, whatever phase you're going through, this is supposed to happen. So keep on grinding, right? People are supposed to come in here and step in your way and try to be roadblocks, or people are supposed to tear you off your path. But at the end of the day, you got to understand, like, it's tunnel vision on your path. It's tunnel vision, right? You don't need to worry about anybody else's path, right? You don't need to compare yourself to anybody else. All you do is put your own work in, and I promise you it's going to happen. Whatever it is that you want to happen, it's going to happen. Right? So with that being said, man, like, bet on yourself. That's the name of the goal, right? That's the name of the goal, because it takes real strength to say, I'm gonna do something out the norm. I'm not gonna do something that everybody else is gonna do. I don't know the result, but I know damn well I'm gonna work my ass off, you know? And we're gonna see what happens. But you gotta work so hard and put so much time into the point where you make the uncertainty certain. That's what I'm realizing. And that's a quote that I've said before. That's something that's just been sticking with me. You got to make the uncertainty certain. So anything that feels like it's uncertainty, grind so motherfucking hard to the point where it's certain. Right? Ain't nobody going to grind for you. Ain't nobody going to grind for you. You know, school wasn't for me just because, first, I didn't feel passionate about nothing. I didn't feel passionate about doing the schoolwork. So if I went to school for a certain degree, like, I wouldn't have felt passionate about doing any of that work. Right? There probably would have been topics that would have been nice to learn about, but then you get homework involved, and it's like, okay, like, I don't love homework. I don't love this topic enough to do that homework, right? But the topics that I work on every single day and the things that I do every single day, I love that shit enough to sit at my computer and do my work, right? So I was just blessed to have the knowledge at an early age to understand my purpose and what I wanted to accomplish. You know, and maybe I'll go back to school later, you know, just for a degree, just to do it. But it's not really in my book, right? And that's okay, because it's in somebody else's book. It's in somebody else's book. And don't let nobody try to put their dreams upon you. Because I was questioning myself, right? And school is not a bad thing, right? But it just wouldn't have lined up with me. I would have went to school, I would have studied something that I didn't really feel passionate about, but then I would have got distracted into that lifestyle that everybody gets caught up in. Because school, sometimes I think about the fact that, like, damn, it would be nice to just walk out and live on a campus and have friends and, you know, be able to interact with people my age all the time. But I got to remember my plan. I got to remember why I set out on this journey, right? Because the work that I'm putting in now, I did this because I know that by the time I'm going to be graduating, or by the time they graduate, or by the time it's time to go out into the real world after high school and stuff, after school and shit like that, I'm going to be in a whole different position, because I spent the last 4 years leveling up and making life my teacher instead of spending the last 4 years getting a degree. Because a lot of people get a degree and it's like, what the fuck do I do now? And that's where you got to make sure you go to school for a strategic reason. What is it that you're going to study? Is what you're studying going to set you up for something good later on? You know, all that shit, bro. All that shit. You know, so all I'm saying is, if you betting on yourself right now, don't stop betting on yourself. You know, don't give up. Don't let nothing take you off your path. School was just an example I used because that's just been going on in my head. That's just been going on with me. And I know somebody else could go through it. I know somebody else is probably going through this. I know somebody else can learn from what I'm going through. I know somebody else can relate, right? And give them a little bit more confidence, inspiration, you know, because we all go through this shit. You know, we don't feel like we have it all figured out, you know? There's never a time where you really feel like you have it figured out. You might get closer to having it figured out, but like even then, there's so many levels to life. There's always a new goal to get to. Like if you feel like you have it all figured out, then you're not grinding hard enough, right? You haven't set that next goal. So bet on yourself. Keep pushing. Don't let nobody put their dreams upon you, right? Or whatever plans they feel like you should have. Don't let them put them upon you. You got to take your plans so serious and feel so strong about your plans that you understand that plan A is the only option and plan B is to make plan A work. It's the Official Go Getter. Like, comment, subscribe. Follow me on Instagram at officialgogetter_. And let's grind together, man.